What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the JETS Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez, and today we continue to talk about this new Jet approach and all the tentacles of it, right? How it creates buy-in and also what they are doing in free agency, how it gives you clues as to what they may do in the draft, which is next month. Now, first of all, I want to, kind of address a few things. There are people out there on social media that are like, oh, are the Jets going to sign Stephon Diggs? No, they're not, okay? Because it does not fit what they are doing. They are not about the flashy, big money signings anymore. It's not about trying to win the back page. I see people on social media, oh, are the Jets going to draft Jackson Dart at number 7 overall? No, they're not. They have their young quarterback. It is Justin Fields, and they are going to be smart about the number 7 overall pick. And I actually think there's an opportunity here, okay? Because usually top offensive linemen are going in the first 3 of the draft. They're going in the first 5 of the draft. But this is a unique draft where you have some other interesting players like a Travis Hunter, like an Abdul Carter, that are going to be at the top of the draft, of course, with the quarterbacks, right? So I think it's going to be Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter. There's the defensive lineman out of Michigan, Mason Graham. There's a wide receiver like Tet McMillan, even a cornerback like Will Howard, also of Michigan. And so at 7, I think there is a unique opportunity for the offensive linemen, the top offensive linemen, to really fall in the Jets' lap. I know a lot of people have been talking about Tyler Warren, but as we get deeper and deeper into this, I think the new regime, quite frankly, is smart. And I think it is smarter to go ahead with the more sure bet at offensive linemen at number 7 overall than a guy like Tyler Warren. But have no fear, because I know a lot of people out there really want the Jets to, get a pass catcher, get a weapon for Justin Fields. I've seen it in the comments. I see it on social media. So I do want to tell you, there are other tight ends in this draft that have really good potential, okay? Everyone knows about Tyler Warren because he got Heisman votes. Everybody knows about Tyler Warren because there's just so much buzz around him. Let me tell you about some other tight ends that if the Jets draft them using their 2nd round draft pick, number 42 overall, or maybe even their 3rd round draft pick, number 72 overall, it could be good, or 73 overall. And we'll talk about how the Jets actually have 73, not 92 like we thought about a few months ago. But that's for another day. At the tight end position, first of all, we've got Jeremy Ruckert there out of Ohio State, a reason Justin Fields likes being here, right? We signed Stone Smart, who has upside, has potential, is in his mid-20s, consistent, on brand. But let me tell you about some of these other tight ends. There's a tight end out of Michigan named Colston Loveland, okay? And he's 6'6". He's 248. He's a very good athlete, has very good acceleration, very good burst, and a catch radius like, whoa, of 79 inches for a guy that is 6'6", right? He led the team in receptions last year. He set the tight end school record at Michigan. He was battling a shoulder injury, but that didn't stop him from being a John Mackey finalist for one of the best tight ends in the nation. Not really a run blocking guy, but another kind of pass catching, prototypical frame, mismatched tight end that is out there. Colston Loveland might actually go in the 1st round. That's how good he is. So if that's the case, he may not be available for the Jets early in the 2nd round at number 42 overall. But there is another guy that I'm starting to think is very, very interesting. His name is Mason Taylor out of LSU. Again, prototypical size for this kind of new age tight end. He's 6'5", 251 pounds. Check this out. Remember, if you're a Jets fan, you know hating the Dolphins, right? And if you hated the Dolphins, you hated an edge rusher named Jason Taylor, who wreaked havoc against the Jets for decades as an edge rusher. He's in the Hall of Fame. Guess what? Mason Taylor is Jason Taylor's son. Talk about a Hall of Fame pedigree. Mason Taylor is also the nephew of Dolphins' other great Hall of Famer, Zach Thomas, middle linebacker, okay? So talk about bloodlines and pedigree you can get. Mason Taylor out of LSU, he has really good hands, and that's something you really need, right? Only 1 drop all season in 2024. 70% of his receptions went for first downs. He was a chain mover. He set an LSU record at tight end for 55 catches in 2024, okay? He's the only LSU tight end ever with 100 career grabs, with 1,000 career receiving yards. Mason Taylor has the size, has the frame, has great hands, and has an amazing, literally Hall of Fame pedigree to play football with Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas as family members. maybe this is a way we can get back at the Miami Dolphins as well. But there's another tight end that is starting to become interesting. I don't know if he's a fit at the second round, would be a steal in the third round, maybe a little bit of a reach at 42 overall, but he is zooming up draft boards, and it is Oregon tight end Terrence Ferguson. This guy had a really good combine, had a really good Senior Bowl where in practices he was making highlight reel grabs, has the same kind of frame, okay? 6'5", 247 catches, 247 pounds. Over the last 2 years in Oregon, 85 catches, 1,000 yards receiving. All right, 9 touchdowns. So you can see he has been productive at the college level for a team like Oregon that was playing in big time games. He has the Ducks tight end record for receptions and touchdowns. And here's the other thing that's, I think, another clue. Our tight ends coach, Jeff Blasco, and our director of player scouting went to the Oregon Pro Day. Now, there's obviously other players at the Oregon Pro Day, but some people are thinking that he might have been there, they might have been there looking specifically at Ferguson. Ferguson, I think, will be there at number 42 overall at the second round, but there's a chance that he can be a third round draft pick as well. He ran 4.6 at the 40. Like I said, great kind of practice at the Senior Bowl. That is another tight end to consider. So even if they don't get Warren at 7 and they go offensive line with Membu or Campbell, which I'm starting to believe is what is going to happen, there are other options out there that could be an addition to this tight end room. Loveland, Taylor, and Ferguson are 3 names that I would actually be relatively happy with. And if you enter training camp, right, with Ruckert, the kid out of Ohio State in his 3rd year, familiarity with Fields, Stone Smart, the kind of upside potential guy who's flashed already as a signing, and a guy like, let's say, Mason Taylor that you get out of the draft. Let me tell you something. That is on brand. That is what we have been talking about. Young guys with upside, with talent, and then one of them will emerge and probably catch 50 balls for the Jets. Do I know who it'll be? Will it be Ruckert? Will it be Smart? Will it be a guy like Taylor or Loveland or Ferguson? I'm not so sure, but someone will emerge, and that is the way Aaron Glenn and Moji are building this team. Also, there's a couple of other guys. All right, Elijah Arroyo out of Miami, 6'5", 250, an 81-inch wingspan, okay? He's still developing, has battled injuries, but the raw talent is there. He could be a third-round pick as well. Gunnar Helm out of Texas, another guy, 6'5", 241. Has good hands, knows how to run routes really well, has good ball skills, as these kind of almost basketball tight ends that can get position, box out, and make the grab. Gunnar Helm fits that as well. So those are definitely some tight end options that you need to know about, but I actually now believe that all this Tyler Warren talk at 7 is something of a smokescreen, and if Membu or Campbell fall as the top offensive lineman to the Jets at number 7, that is where they are going to go. I also talk about here this culture that is building. And let me tell you something, Justin Fields is going to be a key part of that as the free agent signing, and he's all in. Check out this quote recently from Justin Fields on his decision to join the Jets. I think, number one, it's because of Coach Glenn. I played against him early in my career. I told you about the stats he put up, right, in the NFC North against Detroit. I know how passionate he is about the game, the way he coaches, the way his players play. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. And just the opportunity, the fans, of course, the city. When you win here, there is no better place to win. These reasons, ultimately, are why I ended up here. I'm telling you, Pittsburgh had a similar offer, but Justin Fields liked what was happening right here. Justin Fields liked what was going on with the Jets. And I think, again, it's a great job that we let Aaron Rodgers walk, right? Compare and contrast that with Aaron Rodgers, literally, like I said yesterday, holding multiple teams hostage, not able to make their moves, not able to fully buy in, worried more about his media appearances than the culture that was building. So I really think that this is absolutely the move, and we are building something. The youth movement here is real. I talk about the youth movement that has happened in the early wave of free agency, and check this out. After this wave of signings, there are now only 4 players on the Jets roster that are 30 years or older. And it's kind of funny who they are, right? Thomas Morstead, the punter, is 39. Greg Zuerlein, the place kicker, the field goal kicker, is 37. You got Thomas Hennessy, the long snapper, who is 30, and then Tyrod Taylor, the backup quarterback, who's 35. I love having Tyrod on the roster here, but he is a backup quarterback, more of a mentor to Fields, and then literally the specialist on special teams, right? The kicker, the punter, and the long snapper. But I'm here to tell you that this new youth movement for the Jets is literally gonna threaten that as well, and has hit all three phases. The Jets, I didn't mention it, but about a week ago, they signed a new punter as well. His name is Austin McNamara, okay? He fits the mold. He was drafted a few years ago. He is a young punter. He was on the Bengals. I know Thomas Morstead has been good, but this just also speaks that the Jets are leaving no stone left unturned when it comes to this new approach. I mean, McNamara was a four-time All Big 12, All Conference punter at Texas Tech. He was the All-American punter as a freshman in 2019, right? So he got into the league just a couple of years ago. He had a 45.9 yard average on his punt, and I saw a highlight where he literally boomed an 87-yard punt, okay? So he has the leg, and I don't know if he's going to beat out Morstead, but what I do believe is that it continues showing the signals to this Jets roster, right? Competition is a good thing, and it's happening at every position, and we are going to do this with young guys. This has hit all three phases. Remember how they re-signed the return man, Nguanu, the guy who had the 99-yard touchdown return against the Seahawks earlier in the year. Remember I talked about Chris Boyd as well on special teams. So I think, again, whether McNamara is the punter or not, it sends a signal. It shows this approach. It creates buy-in. So that's what I'm talking about here today on Jets Latest. We're not going to sign Stephon Diggs. We're not going to draft Jackson Dart. We're not going to try to make the splashy move. We are building this from the ground up, and I believe that is smart. I believe it signals to this entire roster about competition, youth, talent. You see the way Justin Fields is buying in. And I really do believe that if the Jets go O-line at 7 with Membu or Campbell, that there are opportunities for other tight ends like Loveland, like Taylor, and others, the kid Ferguson out of Oregon, who could be a second or third round pick and actually add to the tight end room with Smart, with Ruckert, and someone will emerge. That'll do it for Jets Latest here on this episode to go on into the weekend. But as always, like this video, please comment, go ahead. I like to engage with you guys as you guys are building excitement for the new era in green and white, and subscribe to the channel. This way, every time I drop a new video, you know what to do. It is tune in and like it and get the latest on the JETS Jets. And as always, if you want more from me, the spitting statistician Dane Martinez, follow me on X at Spittin' Speeds, and I am the host of the FTN Fantasy Show on Sirius XM channel 87, the fantasy channel, where we break down everything: DFS, underdog, prize picks, pick'em platforms, season-long fantasy, and sports betting across all sports: basketball, baseball, NFL, golf even. March Madness is going on. We have got you covered. You could always check me out there, but this is another edition of Jets Latest. I'll be back next week, kind of resetting the deck on our cap space, on our draft assets, and what the holes are left to fill as we continue to march on towards the NFL draft, where now with 3 picks in the top 75, they are going to continue to add and build out this roster for 2025. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you then. This is another episode of Jets Latest in the books. We out of here. Peace.